Hey dudes,
Hello.
welcome back to a new video. Today we decided to go to the seaside.
So behind us we have Baltic Sea. The noise you can see here in the background, that's probably it. Maybe apart from that airplane that just appeared out of nowhere. And today we decided that we're gonna try to come out and film a video here.
It's minus 1 or 2 degrees, but the weather app says it feels like minus everything.
And we have mint tea with us, so it's warming us up a little bit. How was it?
It's hot, super hot,
It's hot.
burning hot, but just the right thing.
Oh, it's too hot.
Yeah, just what we need right now because it is freezing. The sea is kind of frozen, but not really anymore, because we had a couple of warm days, so it had time to melt.
I guess we'll start with what our idea for the video is, and the idea was to start a new series that would kind of let you to get to know us better,
Yeah.
and this will be like a sit and talk type of videos. We will answer some of our questions about our personalities, and maybe we'll explain our perspectives on things.
Yeah, just a bit on a deeper level than just a regular Q&A, because that one was nice, but like we'll go deeper about who we are, how we are, and all those things. So it's gonna be like it will be almost like a podcast, but not really. So
hopefully that will give you a chance to relate to us, maybe share your opinions, and the good thing for us is that we will have some content to post online.
So let us know if that's something you're interested in, because I think it's gonna be quite nice for us to have like just kind of talking videos as well, not just exploring, because right now it is quite cold and
There's not much to explore.
yeah, the exploring part is quite hard for us, but well, we're outside and we're doing our best, so let's see how this thing goes.
Today we're gonna answer and talk a little bit more about, do we think we are loners, and why do we like to distance ourselves from anyone, and that kind of topic. So if you can relate to that, you can let us know what your personality type is.
Yeah, because in the previous video about houses, we mentioned that we want to be far away from everyone, and we received a couple of comments saying that maybe we shouldn't isolate ourselves, but to be honest, we have been isolating ourselves for quite a good while, but it's only been best for us in many ways. So
It's actually even easier now that we don't have a job to go to, because when we had a job, there were people watching our videos, and then we tried not to offend anyone, or think a little bit more what we post, what we not. Now it's more of a freedom, because we can say whatever we want.
and
There's no one watching. Maybe if they're watching, it's still fine because we're not connected to them.
yeah, for me, I spent 2 years working from home. Well, you know probably why. And a lot of people could not wait to get back to offices because they missed their coworkers, they missed interactions with people, and all that kind of stuff. And for me, it was quite 2 of the best years of my work life, because I really enjoyed being by myself. It's just something that we really do.
Yeah.
We're not much of going to parties people. We're not that social, I guess, but I think in quite a healthy way. I wouldn't say there's any I don't know, mental reasons why we wouldn't. Like, of course there's social anxiety and stuff like that, but I think it's still in quite a healthy way for us.
Yeah, I don't think there's nothing wrong with us. It's just the lifestyle that we choose. We prefer being quiet, being with our own thoughts, rather than being in the herd, if that makes sense. So we can decide for ourselves and just kind of be more, a little bit selfish as well, because
Yeah.
it's not the lifestyle everyone will choose to live, and maybe for us it's easier to transition to. That's why our dreams were like to have a house somewhere in the countryside, And I don't think we will have any issues with transitioning from being social, living in the city, and then being on our own, because even living in the city, we found our way to be kind of alone and kind of on just rely on ourselves a lot. I know that there are people out there that think that that's crazy and they would not be able to do, but on the other hand, there's also people that live this way and think that that's normal. I think we don't judge anyone by their choices, and we would like to not be judged as well.
First of all, we're not complete loners because we're together and we quite enjoy each other's companionship. Like, this is quite enough for both of us. At least I definitely feel like that. It is weird because you usually will work with a lot of people if you're in work life, and it was interesting that one of my colleagues, after 2 years of living in Malta, at the end of my career there, he was just like jokingly asking, so how many friends have you made over the past 2 years here? And I was like smiling awkwardly, and he was like, really, 0? And I was like, well, yeah, like we lived in Malta for 2 years and we never had a single guest in our home.
Yeah, apart from maintenance people.
Yeah, and we were also never guests to anyone else's home. And the same thing was in Scotland. We lived there for 4 years and we never really had a single guest. And we were totally fine with that. Like, we feel like it's our own space. We feel comfortable there. I've since childhood actually for myself, I lived in the capital. There was a bunch of people everywhere, and I was never the person, like I never experienced that club life or something like that. Everyone, when they're 16, they're trying to get fake IDs and trying to sneak into clubs because that's what everyone does, and there's parties and people and loud music and everything, and everyone just couldn't wait to do that. And I was always like, all my friends would always be like, well, you know you're not going to be offended because we don't invite you to the parties like that. And I was like, yeah, I never take offense because I will always say no anyways, because I just don't want to be part of that. And I've been to a couple of clubs maybe once in my whole life, maybe 3 or 4, and I was always like, can I go home now? Like, this is not for me. I don't know the people there. I don't like the music there. Yeah, why would I pay for drinks a lot more in a place that I don't really enjoy? So
for me it's similar, only I'm not coming from a big city. I lived pretty rurally. Like, the closest town was like 10 to 15 kilometers. It was like kind of a town-ish setting for the school, and so it meant after the school walking home 4 kilometers, so it's not much day left anyway, because the school ends like 2-3 o'clock, and then about an hour to walk home. No one really wants to walk home when it's late and dark, so it's just like usually that took a little bit of my life. And then at home I was living with my older sister, so we were kind of together, obviously, because we shared the room and we lived like a family does. But no, not that many people could access us. Like, it's easier in the city when you live in like block houses, in apartments, so you go out in the street or the little settings in front of house and, like, I don't know, play and do things that children do. But for us it was a little bit isolating because not that many people could on a daily basis come to us, visit us, and like play in our backyard because we were not in the city, if that makes sense.
yeah, I definitely had that, because if you go to a kindergarten or school, there's billions of block houses, so all of your kindergarten school friends will definitely live like 1 or 2 minutes away from you. But yeah, I still, like, over the years I had maybe 3 friends, and that was more than enough, because what am I gonna do with more friends? And I still talk to them every once in a while, but it would never be that let's hang out every single weekend, like some people do, or like let's just meet this person, then let's go out for a coffee with this person I haven't seen you in years. So
I guess it's worth mentioning also that going to see people and going to movies and going for coffee was not an option as well, because I grew up not that wealthy, and so all these kind of things would mean going to the city and hang out with the people who live in cities, and paying the money and on the transportation or the movies or the coffee. I did not really have that because I did not have the opportunity to grow up that way.
Absolutely. Doesn't matter where you live, but the same was for me because, yeah, the movie tickets will cost money. Going to a friend's birthday party meant that I would have to get them a gift because that's what normal people do, and that would cut in the family's budget that didn't even really exist. But actually, this is gonna be our next episode.
Yeah, we will talk about our childhood and experiences and the way we grew up. In the other topic, I guess they will all come together and will make sense about our life decisions and the way we are from where we're coming from, right?
Yeah, but right now, as you said in the beginning, like it feels like it's only best for us because if we choose to live in a really rural place where you can't meet your friends all the time and you can't meet your family every single weekend, some people might find it difficult. I had colleagues at work that would say they can't move away in a different city in their own country because mom would be too far away and they can't, like, mom is your best friend and you can't live that far away, this kind of attachment to people. But for us it's like whenever we'll meet people, but it's not a necessity to do it often. So yeah, even if we lived in cities, we still feel like we could definitely live rurally because we feel comfortable by ourselves in quiet, in nature, and just being by ourselves. I think that's usually the best time spent for us.
Yeah, I think what bothers us is when things are loud, like the street noise or the dogs or the neighbors, like how it is living in a community, because it can be really annoying that there's a lot of noise going on, and for us we're looking for peace and quiet.
Yeah, if there's any noise, then it would be chosen by us. I mean, there's a reason why we chose the most silent pet we could ever find, because our pet tortoise is quiet and calm, and he really resembles us. So
yeah.
Well, yeah, as you said, like a lot of we might get some dislikes from this, but we really don't enjoy dogs as pretty much the rest of the world does.
We would not choose a dog unless it's for a protection, as we're living somewhere rurally and there's like bears coming into our garden and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then it might be useful, but the barking all the time.
But it would be useful. There would be like a reason to get it. But to have let's say a dog in the city,
in an apartment, a huge
and
dog that just can't shut the fuck up.
Yeah, because it was super annoying in Malta, because we had a crazy old lady in the first or second floor and we were quite up, but you could hear the dog, the dog was actually insane, psychopathic.
I mean, she was insane too.
Yeah, so they were a good
apart
fit.
from the story, I guess.
I know, but it was incredibly annoying because the dog could bark through the nights, in the mornings, and the dog was quite insane. So when we would walk past that lady, you kind of are afraid because that dog could eat you alive, even though it was a tiny dog.
Usually the tiny ones are the crazy.
Yeah, but the whole barking thing, and the dogs are super excited and full of energy, and that's just
and we are not.
And we're not. We're kind of calm people. We're we're quite old. Not we're super mature, but we're old people, maybe 70, and we just want to keep our calm and just go somewhere. And we're kind of one of those people who would yell at those kids downstairs for having parties and stuff like that. There's one more thing that I wanted to mention. It's when I was working from home and actually just joined in workforce and starting to meet people and dealing with colleagues, is the person's leaving parties. Because every single person, if you spend enough time at work, people start leaving, and every single person thinks that there should be a leaving party for them. And in the beginning it was super awkward for me because I didn't know how to just tell them I'm not interested. in your leaving party. I don't want to go to a party every third week when someone will leave. But then actually at some point this was quite a discovery for me. I found out that you can just be honest instead of finding these excuses like, oh, I'm not gonna make it that day, or oh, I don't know if I have to watch out for the dog or the baby, or whatever excuses people make not to go to these places, because it also costs a lot of money, and we never want to spend money that often just to go and say goodbye to every single person that will ever leave. But at some point, I think it was back in Glasgow, when there was too many people, I had too many excuses to make, I just went to one person and said, listen, like, let's just say goodbye right here at work when it's your last day, because I don't want to go to your leaving party, because I just don't feel comfortable outside in parties and drinks and stuff like that. So don't take offense. Like, I really enjoyed you being my colleague, and let's just say goodbye here. And yeah, I don't want to go outside. I don't want to spend money. I don't feel good there. So this is the reason I'm not going to come to your party. And it turned out that people are like, sure, makes sense. Let's just say goodbye. And no one was ever offended. And I could start using that to a lot of people. I was just like I don't.
Everyone.
Yeah, to everyone. I was just like, I don't want to be outside. Like, I don't enjoy parties. And that was quite the discovery, that you can just be honest as well about your reasons why you don't want to go outside. Because I think people will be more offended if you make up these excuses that everyone has heard 1,000 times.
And not only about attending the leaving parties, for me the problem would be, or the fear would be even the hosting one. Like, what do you do in those parties? You just invite people to a bar or a
Yeah.
cafe or some place. You sit around and just drink and laugh about what? Like, what do you talk about in those situations? Like, oh, how's your new job? Oh, well, I don't know. I just left this one.
Yeah.
And then about the past job, you also can't speak really, because like, oh, I don't work there anymore. I don't care about anything that's going on.
Yeah.
It's like, and okay, but then what do you say?
All right, people, let's have fun and everything and have deep conversations because we're drunk. But actually, I will never see in my life maybe one or two of you. But rest of the team, like, clear. Let's be honest, no one.
We didn't even like you that much, to be honest, to begin with, and so now we have to, say
Yeah.
goodbye.
Yeah, and you were also quite a bit of a bitch at work to me. But now that I'm leaving, it's like, oh, you're leaving. You're part of the team. We can't. We're so sorry. You will never be replaced. And
Yeah.
and obviously, as every normal company, you'll be
You
replaced.
will be replaced. No
quite
problem.
quickly, actually. So yeah, that's a reason why you wouldn't. And then obviously it was the last aspect. It's just financially it didn't make sense to go to that many parties. So yeah, that's just one of those things that maybe being a loner benefited us.
For sure. All right, hopefully that will give you an insight of how we are, what we think, and what we think about being alone, and maybe not being as social as normally accepted.
Is this going to be the end of our first episode of Getting to Know Us?
Well, this is the end of the episode for sure.
Alright, so if you enjoyed this one, you know what to do. Leave some of those likes, and if you want to see more of our videos and what we do, you can subscribe, that would be great. And we'll see you in the next video. Bye.
Bye.